All right, so we're going to continue talking about domain and range of linear functions. In this question, we have the total cost of dollars to buy uniforms for the soccer players on a volleyball team. And we can find by using the function given to us, where U is the number of uniforms bought, and if there are players, at least 8 players, but no more than 12 players on the volleyball team. And what is the domain and of the function? So we know we have domain and range, but we're specifically only asking for the domain of this function. So first off, I have to figure out, well, what is my domain? My domain is going to be the input, right? So if I have C is equal to 34.95U plus 6.25. In this case, the U, this is our input, okay? That's going to be represented the domain, and the C is going to be the output, okay? Now, that means that the U, the number of uniforms that we can buy, are representing the domain. Okay, well, let's talk about what that means in terms of the domain and what our range is, or rather, let me put it this way, the limit of our domain. Well, we said the number, no more, at least 8 players, but no more than 12 players. So that means the number of uniforms that we need to buy we need to buy at least 8 uniforms, and the maximum uniforms that we're going to need to buy is 12. Okay, so our input, our domain, is going to be from 8 less than or equal to uniform less than or equal to 12. But we're talking about, which, okay, that sort of matches F, but then it says 0. Well, we're going to need at least buy 8 uniforms because we have 8 players. So F is not going to work. And neither is G going to work because that's 0. Okay, so now the 2 answer choices that we have are both discrete. Well, let me talk about this here. 8 to 12 would be a continuous function. We're not going to buy 8.5 uniforms. We're going to buy 8 uniforms, 9 uniforms, 10 uniforms, 11 uniforms, and then the maximum uniform that we're going to buy is 12. So that gives our answer choice H. Now, just to talk about this J, that's our range. That would be the output. That would be the cost that we would get when we input that in. All right? Now, let's go to the next question. Next question is talking about a student. And said student rode a bike to the recreation center, and the graph shows the number of students, distant miles, recreation to the center of the bike. Okay. Then the question asks us, what is the range? So that is the y values of the function of the situation. Okay. Yes, we know that technically a function would continue off in this direction. However, in the case of this graph, we're limited. Our limited is here at 9 and 28. Okay, so those are our limit. So if we were talking about our x values, our domain, that would be from 0 to 28. The time would be minutes. But here we're talking about the y values, the range, so that would be here, the y-axis. So that would be from 0 to 9. So that would be 0, less than or equal to. Now, we're looking at distance, so I'm going to put D, less than or equal to 9. 9, what is it, 9 miles? Yeah, I guess 9 miles, hey? All right, so we want to know what all real numbers greater than 0 or less than or equal to 28. Nope, that would be domain. All real numbers greater than or equal to 0. Less than or equal to 9. That sounds really good because we have 0 to 9. All real numbers less than or equal to 28. Nope. All real numbers less than or equal to 9. Nope. That would be as if it was a continuous function and it would go in below 0. All right? All right, here we have a range of the function, and this is a continuous graph that's limited. So I'm going to draw a frame around my limit. Note I'm following the line that I'm given here in terms of that. Okay, so that means that all of the values, all the domain and range are going to be included in here. So let's say any point, if I pick that point, that's going to be this x value and this y value. If I pick this point here, that's going to be this x value and this y value, okay? So it's including all of the domain from here to here, left to right, and all of the range from here up and down. Okay, so we know that. I'm going to erase some of these just so that we can see it. All right, now we're looking for the range though, because that is the up and down. So just remember, range is up and down. So that's going to take out all the answer choices that have x in it. So that's F and that's H. Okay, now let's talk about our answer choices now without even looking at our graph. My answer choice has a continuous graph or a discrete. And our graph is not discrete. Our graph is continuous within the limit that we're given. So J is automatically out without even looking at what our limits are. So our answer choice is going to be G. Now let's just talk about this. If I look at the limits, my lowest level here is at 3, so or -3, less than or equal to y, less than or equal to my maximum value being up there at 4. All right, next question. A plane carrying a maximum cargo weight of 160,000 pounds. Company uses these planes to ship 2,000-pound containers. So we need to write an equation, or rather a function. So our equation is going to be y is equal to, well, it's 2,000-pound containers, so that's our slope is going to be 2,000. And then depending on one of these containers, or the number of containers, so x, however many that is, that's going to give us our output. So the x is our input, and the y is our output. So now I want to look at, well, 160,000, that's going to be our output. So I'm going to say 160,000 is equal to 2,000 x, and then I'm just going to solve for x, because that's what I'm looking for. I want to look at what is x going to be. So that's going to be 2,000, 3, so 160, that's going to give me x is equal to 16 divided by 2 is going to give me 8, and that's going to end up giving me 80. So my answer is going to be the function, the greatest value for this domain would be 80, okay? We got still continuing domain and range. Identify the mathematical domain and range, and we're given this function. Okay, so if we notice this, we're set of council members on 4 field trips for the school year. Okay, the number of buses needed to transport the members, each function, and the numbers of each trip. This is set up as ordered pairs. So all we're looking at are these values here for domain, and that's what we're looking for. If we were looking at range, we'd look for the other one. So I'm going to quite easily and simply look for the answer choice that matches that, which is going to be H. All right, I'm going to do the next one in the next video, because that's going to start a new TEK for us. See you.